So, good afternoon and welcome to today's Key Stage 2 yoga class. So, our theme today is around the idea of outer space. So, we're going on a little bit of a space adventure in our yoga practice. So, make sure that you've got your yoga mat if you're using one. Roll it out in a nice safe space to practice. Or if you don't have one, then just a soft carpeted area will do. But of course, it's very important, firstly, to make sure that you remove your socks so that you've got good grip on whichever surface you are using to prevent slips. And also to remember throughout the practice to listen to your body, take rest if you need to, and miss out anything if it doesn't feel comfortable, or maybe just adjust yourself a little bit if you need to. So, with all that in mind, we're going to find ourselves a comfortable seated position, either on our yoga mat if we have one, or just in our yoga space. So coming to find a comfortable seated position, the legs crossed, growing nice and tall through the body, lifting that head up towards those moon and stars. So we take 3 deep breaths together with the chime. Each time we hear it, breathing in and out. Lovely. So, to get started, before we head off onto our space adventure, we're going to warm up the body a little bit. So sitting nice and tall, bringing the fingertips to the floor on either side of the body. As you breathe in, reach the arms up over the top of your head. Breathing out, floating them back down. Twice more, breathing in and out. In and out. Wonderful. Resting the hands down on top of the knees. I'm going to draw some big shoulders with the circles, just like the moon orbiting the earth. So bringing them up to the ears and sliding them back and down. Wonderful. You can add in the breathing if you like. Breathing in to lift the shoulders. Breathing out to roll them back and down. Wonderful. Okay, so before we head up to our space adventure, we need to pop on our spacesuit just as astronauts would wear if they were going on a mission into space. So you're going to stretch out those legs nice and long in front of you. You're going to start by stretching up high to get down the suit. And then leaning forward, you're going to pop in one foot, sliding the hands all the way up the leg. Then reaching down to the other foot, sliding up the other leg. Then coming over onto your knees. You're going to wriggle that suit all the way up your body. Coming up to the armpits. Then you're going to reach over to one arm, pulling the suit all the way on that side. Then stretching out, pulling the suit on the other side. Bringing both hands down to your belly. Pulling up the zip all the way to the top of your chest, up to the base of your neck. Then you're going to stretch all the way up high once more to get down that big space helmet. And pop it on top of your head. Lovely. So coming on all the way up to standing. Taking the feet a little bit wider than your hips, so about the same width apart as your shoulders. Really root those feet down and stand tall through the crown of your head. Then floating the arms up high, bringing the hands together to make yourself into the shape of a space rocket. We're going to do a countdown from 5 as we shake out the legs, ready to take off. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you blast off, jump up really high. Blast off. Lovely. So our rocket is going to take us firstly all the way to the moon. Now the first moon landing was back in 1969, so over 50 years ago now. So we're going to start off by exploring the moon, and instead of doing sun salutations today, we're going to do a moon salutation instead to explore all the different phases that the moon goes through in its 27, 28-day cycle as it orbits our planet Earth. So coming to stand at the front of your mat or practice area, bringing the hands together in front of your heart. Starting by reaching the arms up to the sky. Bring the hands together and bend to one side to make a crescent moon. Coming back up to center. Bend into the other side, making a crescent moon. Coming back up to the middle. Then stepping your legs out wide. Bringing the arms out wide. Sink your hips and bottom down as you imagine holding a huge full moon in your arms. Take a big breath in and out. And then straight legs, reaching your arms out wide. So you imagine being a bright twinkling star in the sky. Lovely. Okay. So then floating your arms up over your head as your star falls and crashes towards the earth, folding forward. And turning over your foot to step backwards to downward facing dog. Then picking up one leg, lifting it high in the air behind you. Then step it all the way to the top of your mat, popping your back knee down on the floor. As you reach the arms up, leaning back, looking up to the sky in your crescent moon lunge. Floating the hands back down, stepping up to downward facing dog, and then lift the leg up into the air, and stepping it through between the hands. So you should have the other leg this time. Popping your back knee down, big breath in as you reach the arms up high, softening in, looking up as you lean into your crescent moon. Floating the hands back down to the floor, stepping backwards to your downward facing dog. Then walking your hands and feet together. Big breath in as you stretch up high. Hands coming back to the start. We're going to repeat that once more. So standing nice and tall to begin. Stretching your arms up to the sky. Then bending to one side. Coming back to the middle. Bending to the opposite side. Come back to the middle. Step those feet nice and wide as you sink the hips down. Holding on to that big full moon. Straighten the legs, reaching the arms out wide. So you make a 5-pointed, bright, shining star. Sweeping the arms up overhead. Folding forward as your falling star crashes towards the earth. Turning to the side into downward facing dog. Lifting those hips. Floating one leg up high and stepping it to the top of your mat. Placing the back knee down as you reach your arms up, leaning back into your crescent moon lunge, looking up to the sky. Floating the hands back down, coming back to downward dog or all fours. So you lift the other leg high. Stepping it to the top of your mat. Back knee lowers down. Sweeping the arms up high. Lean back, looking up. Stepping the foot, the hands to the floor, foot back to downward dog. And then bringing those hands and feet together. Big breath in as you reach up high. Breathing out, hands returning to the heart. Wonderful. So now we're fully warmed up, we can begin to explore on the surface of the moon. Now the moon itself doesn't have very good gravity, so if you were to walk there, your steps would take a really long time. So we're going to practice our moon walking on your mat. So bringing your arms down by your side and then slowly lifting one knee as high as you can. Then placing it back down. Bringing in the arms too. Lift the arm and leg. Placing it down. Just exploring your space as you moonwalk slowly. As if you were on the surface of the moon. Wonderful. So because it takes so long to walk around on the surface of the moon, the people that visited there back in the 1960s decided it would be a good idea to try and travel around by moon buggy. So coming to sit at the very back of your yoga mat or towards the back of your practice space, taking your legs out nice and wide, imagining that you are in your moon buggy, bringing your hands to make a steering wheel, and then seeing if without moving your hands towards the floor, you can use just those muscles in the back of your legs to walk yourself all the way to the front of your mat or practice space, just like driving your moon buggy. Wonderful. Coming to a stop when you reach there. Now see if you can reverse your moon buggy all the way back. So using just those muscles in your hamstrings and glutes to walk you backwards as you reverse that moon buggy. Nearly there. Good work, everyone. Okay. So as we're exploring on the surface of the moon, you might find lots of caverns and craters that have been made by asteroids crashing into the moon. And whilst they were up there exploring, they had a good look at the moon rocks and minerals that they could find, having a close look and bringing some things back. So we're going to make ourselves into a moon rock, coming over onto your knees, curling up nice and small, imagining that you're a rock on the surface of the moon. Now the moon has no air, no water, absolutely no signs of life, not even tiny insects, and no weather, no wind, no rain. It's just a dusty, rocky surface. And just imagine the stillness and the calm you would experience if you were a rock in a crater on the surface of the moon. And slowly rising back up. So we're going to head away from the moon now and start to explore a little wider out in the solar system. So as well as our planet, planet Earth, which is which number away from the sun? Third planet away from the sun, that's right. Okay, there are 7 other planets in our solar system. Now, although there are that many planets, no one has ever managed to visit any of the other planets before. They've never got beyond the moon. But we're going to imagine that we're the best astronauts there are. We're going to be the first people to explore on the planet of Mars. So to get there, we're going to have to travel in a big space rocket once again. So we're going to come all the way back up to standing. Remember, those feet are around shoulder distance wide. So you stand tall through the head, bringing those arms up high, hands together. We're going to count down together to fly off to Mars, starting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big jump as you blast off. Lovely. If we were going to fly all the way to Mars, how long does that take? It was 6 months, I think, it takes to fly all the way to Mars. So it's a very long flight, but it's not going to take us quite so long. So we're going to come into land, make ourselves into the best planet shape we can. So take those legs a little wide, bend the knees, and then make a circle above you with the arms. So you imagine you are that red planet of Mars. Lovely. Maybe you might begin to turn slowly on to stop. And then turning back the opposite way. Super. So Mars is a red, rocky planet, covered in valleys and mountains and volcanoes. Although their volcanoes don't erupt like they do here. They last had an eruption 25 million years ago. But we're going to imagine that we've travelled back in time that far, and we're going to recreate that huge volcanic eruption using our breath and our bodies. So this is a really great breath to help us let go of emotions and frustrations. So you're going to take those feet again around hip to shoulder distance wide. Standing tall through the head to make that volcano shape. You're going to bring your hands together in front of your belly as you gather up all that frustration and energy. So you take a big breath in, draw everything in together. So you breathe out, your volcano explodes. And again, breathing in, gather it all up, all that emotion. Breathing out. Wonderful. Once more. Breathing in and out. Wonderful. Great job. So, on the planet of Mars is where the phrase Martians comes from. So, no one knows if there is really life on Mars or not. But there might be some funny little aliens or monsters that perhaps look a little bit like these guys. Or maybe they look like something completely different. So I'd like you now to choose any shape you wish with your body to represent what you think your alien might look like. So you can make any shape. You might be big and tall. You might be small and round. Just imagine what your alien might look like. Making the shape with your body. Maybe making some sounds too. Wonderful, great job. Super. So we're going to come to leave the planet of Mars now and think a little bit more about some of the other planets within our solar system. So does anybody know what the biggest planet in our solar system might be? Okay, what do you think? Jupiter. So Jupiter is a really huge planet, and it has on it a little red spot. And that red spot on Jupiter represents a storm that has been raging for hundreds and hundreds of years. Okay, so we're going to make ourselves into that tornado-style storm by coming all the way up to standing. So bring your feet nice and close together, and to make the shape of a tornado, then narrow at the bottom and wide at the top. So we're going to begin to spin from the hips, keeping the legs nice and still as your storm rages from side to side, hundreds of years swirling and waving through the sky. You might begin to circle the arms as your storm rages. A big, fierce tornado, ongoing forever. Fantastic. Release the arms down. Take a moment to stand nice and tall and still. So you take a big breath in and out. In and out. Wonderful. So there are lots of other planets throughout the solar system. But we're going to start to think about some of the other things within the solar system as well. So along with all the planets and stars and the moon of ours, as well as the moon of other planets, we might be coming across something such as asteroids or comets. So asteroids are big rocks that float, quite often in a group, through the solar system. So we're going to imagine that we are an asteroid and we're going to fly through the solar system at high speed. So for this one, we're going to come all the way down onto our tummies. So laying flat down on your tummy, bringing your arms down alongside your body. Just allow everything to be still for a moment. And then moving very gently, we're going to roll the shoulders, pick up the head and the chest from the floor, reaching back through the fingers. Then see if you can also pick up the toes, reaching back through the legs and feet as well. And then as you imagine you're an asteroid rocketing through space, perhaps you could gently rock from side to side as you fly through the solar system. Wonderful. Bringing your head down to rest on your hands. Taking a pause here for a couple of breaths. And then slowly bringing yourself all the way up and coming down to sit on your bottom, bringing the feet in front of you, hugging in the knees. So whilst you have asteroids, those balls of rock flying through the solar system, you also get comets, which are made up of ice. And they fly really fast, just like the asteroids. So imagining you're a ball of ice as you curl up really small, tucking your chin, hug your knees, as you're whizzing round in an orbit around the sun. But if you get too close to the sun, you might begin to melt. So as your asteroid careers through space, allow yourself to begin to melt as you get too close to the sun, rolling down onto your back, beginning by hugging the knees in, and then hugging in one knee as you stretch one leg out long as it melts to the floor, melting the other leg down, and then floating the arms up overhead as the whole asteroid melts. I meant comet, didn't I? And then bringing your soles of your feet onto the floor with the knees then. Taking your arms out alongside you, shoulder height. You can always bend at the elbows if you haven't got a lot of room. As you imagine the twists and turns of a shooting star, allow both knees to drift down to one side of your body. Coming back to the middle and over to the other side. Continue to float your knees from one side to the other, just like shooting stars in the night sky. pausing in the center as you make your way to a comfortable position for relaxation. Stretching both legs out long, allowing the arms to rest next to your body. Hop on a blanket or grab your cuddly toy if you wish to have one with you. As you have a final fidget and a wriggle to find yourself a comfortable place for relaxation. And we live here on the planet of Earth. Just one planet out of 8 in our solar system. But it's believed that the galaxies out there go on and on forever. In order to explore further, astronomers send telescopes and cameras up into space. I'd like you to imagine that you're watching through one of those cameras as it travels through the solar system, noticing the colours of the planets beneath you. You might see the beautiful shining rings of Saturn, the red spot of the storm on Jupiter, the bluey green hue of Neptune. Noticing all of the twinkling stars and the biggest, brightest star of all, the sun. The thing that the whole solar system revolves around. You see shooting stars, asteroid belts of rocks hurtling through space, icy comets as they begin to melt, leaving a silvery trail behind them. Then finally you settle on an image of our planet, the planet Earth, with its vast blue seas and its land of green. Watching it slowly rotate before your eyes. As you begin to gently wriggle your fingers and toes, the letters that spell Earth also spell heart if you rearrange them. So bringing your hands to your heart. So you take a deep breath in and out. Bending your knees as you gently guide yourself back to a seated position. Growing tall through the crown of your head as it floats up into space. Bringing both hands to rest, one on top of the other, at your heart center. So we take 3 deep breaths together with the chime. Each time you hear it, breathing in and out. Bringing the palms of the hands together in front of the heart as we bow our heads to one another. Namaste. So thank you very much for joining us on our Space Adventure yoga practice. I hope you enjoyed it and that you maybe learned a little something about space while you are here. So we will be back on Tuesday and Thursday again next week. So with yoga at 1:30 on Tuesday, aimed at Key Stage 1 and early years, so ages 4 to 7. And then on Thursday, Key Stage 2 yoga, aimed at ages 7 to 11. Although those ages are only a guide, so you can join on either class if you want, and even get your parents and grown-ups to join in with you. So we hope you've enjoyed sharing yoga with us this afternoon, and we will see you again soon. Be sure to like the page to get notifications of when we are next online. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.